Ja, frid shalom och välkomna till en profetisk uppdatering vi ska till som handlar om Fikonträdet som är i Israel. Han gav dem också en liknelse. Se på fikonträdet och alla andra träd. Så snart ni ser att de knoppas förstår ni helt klart av er själva att sommaren redan är nära. Det jag tror att man pratar om här är ju fikonträdet som är i Israel, förbundet och landet och folket och Herrens arvedel. Och så står hedningarna här för de som står i fiendeskap till detta alltså. Och vart ska då de samlas någonstans? Jo, man brukar ju samlas i något som heter Förenta nationerna, FN alltså, där samlas man ju. Och då läser vi Juli 3 och 1. Ty se i de dagarna och på den tiden när jag gör slut på Judas och Jerusalems fångenskap ska jag samla alla hednafolk och föra dem ner till Josafats dal. Där ska jag hålla dom över dem för mitt folk, min arvedels Israels skull, som de har förskingrat bland hednafolken. De har delat mitt land. Israel ska alltså samlas ifrån hedningarna som man har gjort också. Man skickades ut över hela jorden år 70 som ni vet när romarna förstörde templet. 1948 kom ju Israel och blev en nation och det har ju många uppfattat som en av de största profetiska händelserna i sen tid. Men Jesus sa här att vi ska se på fikonträdet och på utvecklingen alltså. Hedningarna, alla andra träd. Och då står det att de ska blomma. Och när hedningarna blommar upp så är det ju för deras egendom. Då innebär det att vi ska se ett allt större motstånd emot Israel och judarna och sen de kristna givetvis. Och sen till slut så skall alltså hednafolken samlas. Och man ska göra det tydligen under en världsregering. Och det är ju FN som verkar bli där vi får se hur utvecklingen går. Och så ska man attackera Israel. Och nu kommer det lite nya uppgifter. Jag tror att vi är inne i en fas som är profetisk. Där vi ser alltså att fikonträdet står där och inte bara står där. Nu agerar man alltså för att upprätta kontrollen över Västbanken och direkt så svarar ju då fienderna, det vill säga alla andra träd då. Bland annat så ska ju Macron nu gå emot Israel och skaffa en palestinsk stat. Och genast efter det här bekännandet i Knesset så var ju PA, alltså palestinierna, inte sena med att fördöma alltihopa. Så det vi ser nu genom detta som hände i Knesset och Macron och det FN nu kommer att göra i september, det är nog en upptrappning av detta som Jesus sa att vi skulle hålla våra ögon på. Gud välsigna er nu, så kommer det lite klipp om allt det här. Håll till godo. Amen.
Going on. Check out this opening story. Brits could be banned from going on holiday as carbon passports are introduced. No, I'm not making this up. Carbon passports could be introduced to limit the frequency of foreign holidays for UK residents as part of efforts to combat climate change. Tourism is a significant contributor to climate change, accounting for approximately 1/10 of the greenhouse gas emissions driving the crisis. Friends, you couldn't have a lie that's much greater than this one, but there are bigger lies that are out there. For example, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, people will be given over to the strong delusion so that they will believe the lie. That's going to be the real big lie. But I mean, you look at this, really, tourism accounts for 1/10 of greenhouse emissions in the climate crisis. It's just absolutely absurd. Let's go back just a little bit in time and think of this. In 1991, the Club of Rome published a book titled The First Global Revolution. I mean, think of that title, The First Global Revolution. Is searching for, this is a quote from their own book, is searching for a common enemy against whom we can unite. We came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, and water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All of these dangers are caused by human intervention in natural processes, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy then is humanity itself. Friends, that is a direct quote. So what they're saying is, hey, we came up with the idea. Pollution's a problem, famine's a problem, water shortages, Okay, let's change the behaviors. In their own words. No, I'm not making this up. In their own words, they say, we have this idea, we've got to change the behaviors of people. What for? Their global revolution. That's the name of their book. So therefore, in their own words, they say, if we go this path, then we can claim that the real enemy then is humanity itself. So we can go after men, we can manipulate behaviors and patterns in order for our global revolution. Friends, that is in writing, in their own words. And when we read these things that are coming, the climate lies and the climate laws, much of that has gone behind the curtain over the past several months, apart from Greta Thunberg and her flotilla that she was doing. Apart from that, we haven't heard much about climate because everything's big with Israel, with Trump, with the Obama administration, the Department of Justice. So many other things are going on. Russia, Ukraine, China, North Korea now, Iran. All of these different things are taking place where we haven't been hearing much about climate. Well, guess what? Everything is still marching forward behind the curtain. We might not be hearing about it, but this global takeover is coming to control the masses of humanity. All right. Let's move on from there to Israel. Check this out. The Knesset approves a measure to apply Israeli sovereignty to the West Bank. I look at that and go, friends, this is truly amazing as we look at something like this. What in the world is going on over in the nation of Israel? According to Israeli law, the current status of the territories it captured from Jordan in the Six-Day War, that'd be 1967, save for East Jerusalem, is that of a temporary belligerent occupation. So looking at this, what does this mean about Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria? This is probably, it doesn't have any teeth in it at this point. I believe it was a vote in 71 of favor in the Knesset of it. Doesn't have any teeth at this point. But the problems are Judea and Samaria. Very interesting to watch with Israel's sovereignty. Does Israel actually have a right to the land? Who owns the land? I'm going to get to that in just a minute too. But as we look at that and we look at the different dynamics that are going on, by the way, you know, I know I've mentioned this several times already. Avi Lipkin's been one of my guests on here several times in the past, and he said, listen, something's going to happen in Judea and Samaria where Jews can come back home from America because there's going to be a Holocaust that's coming to America. So Jews.
State of Palestine, true to its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, French President Emmanuel Macron announced on Thursday. I will make the solemn announcement at the United Nations General Assembly in September, Macron said in a statement. There must be an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and massive humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. It is also necessary to ensure the demilitarization of Hamas, secure and rebuild Gaza, Macron continued. Finally, it is essential to build the state of Palestine, ensure its viability, and enable it, by accepting its demilitarization and fully recognizing Israel, to contribute to the security of all in the Middle East.
Hey folks, Eric Stacklebeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast live stream. You know, I really think we're living in a moment in history where God is separating the wheat from the tares and the sheep from the goats. That includes nations, it includes individuals, and I think the dividing line, actually I know biblically, the dividing line in all of this is Israel. Either you're with God's land and you believe that God has eternal promises, an eternal covenant with that land, or you basically blame Israel and the Jewish people for all of the world's ills. That's where we are right now.